Riley and
traded Grigorenko, Zadorov, Hopper, and 31 overall for O'Reilly and Jamie McGinn.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the management in Buffalo and how they really want to win. You see it in the players, some key players, and I think the success in Buffalo is going to turn around pretty quickly. I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode from the High Slot. I am your co-host Chad, and I'm here with Bill. Bill, it's been 2 long months, but we are back at it here, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we're probably going to go for quite a while here. Where do we even start? You have the draft, we have free agency, we have coaches, we have Arizona's in trouble again. We've got everything. It's been a long time, but it's nice to be back.
Yeah, I mean, it's we had to work out some kinks, but, we're back with a new name, and we're ready to go, better than ever. So, started off, you heard from the newest member of the Buffalo Sabres, Jack Eichel, via the NHL from the draft. Also, you heard a little clip there with Tim Murray and the acquisition of Ryan O'Reilly. But it's been a long time coming in Buffalo. It's been, a year and a half talking about McDavid and Eichel. And then, today, for the first time, development camp, we got to see Eichel put on the Sabres jersey and be on the ice.
Yeah, it was really nice. Like you said, the people who were quote-unquote for the tank, I know both of us were. We've been waiting for McDavid/Eichel for over a year now, and to finally see him get drafted, to hear all the things he's been saying, he sounded very mature. He's been saying all the right things, and you can actually hear the excitement in his voice too, which gets all of us here excited. It's nice to see him in a jersey, and I'm sure he was excited to get back on the ice. I know he was saying he was kind of sick of all the cameras following him around.
Yeah, I mean, it was something I saw too. Somebody put it on Twitter that every time, I think actually the Sabres tweeted it out, every time there was a group gathering, when a coach was talking, Eichel was always in the front.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
So I mean, that's that's crazy for an 18-year-old kid. He wants to be great. He said in the draft that he thought he was the best player in the draft, and I think he's really going to go out hard and try to prove it. And I mean, that's something for Sabres fans to be excited about. You got an 18-year-old kid on your team that is going to probably be a superstar in this league, and that's something Buffalo's never had, since Perreault in the 70s. I mean, it's going to be awesome, and I really can't wait till the season starts in October. I just want to get going.
Yeah, me too. We were talking about that exactly what we wanted, because that's what you needed. You need that top-line franchise #1 center, and it looked like the only way Buffalo was going to get one was by doing exactly what they did. They completed the job. They, did what they had to do, got to draft Eichel, and it's starting to finally unfold in front of our eyes here. I will say, it is just prospect camp, so it doesn't mean anything. Even Bilesman said you can't make the team or get off the team just by this. But, obviously, yeah, you're going to notice little things. Him being in the front of the pack is nice, especially with the young kids. He's probably still one of the youngest, right?
Yep.
And but yeah, it's good to see him out there and wanting to be out there. I think it's a big thing for people here in Buffalo too. What is the word I'm looking for? The motto or whatever that if no one wants to be here or get out, we don't want you either. But I think if finally people are starting to come around.
Hockey heaven.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that. I think it's going to be, though. All the moves they've made, they're looking good. I feel like you're going to get to the first game against the Senators in October, and as they're doing roll call, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, we got him too. Yeah. And, oh, yeah, he's new too. The last couple of days have obviously they've all been Eichel O'Reilly, and then you sit there and go, oh, yeah, we got Leonard too. And, oh, yeah, Kane didn't play last year. We got him too. And, oh, yeah, guess what? We have a new coach, too. And it's just like all the things you kind of get lost because of everything that's happened. And if it was like any other year, like those quote-unquote little things would be huge things and it'd be all you would be talking about. But Buffalo has just done so much. And I think that's what Murray was talking about how it's going to take some time, but it doesn't have to take as long as people think it does.
Yeah, you talk about new faces, they're not as flashy, but don't forget, you're adding Jimmy McGinn and David Legwand, too. And those are bottom 6 guys, but they're new faces. I mean, the turnover in this team in the last year and a half since Murray took over, it's been insane. And I think I saw 15 trades he's made since he took over. I mean, 15 trades, that's insane in a year and a half.
He definitely doesn't shy away. He even said himself that he's always looking to. He wants to be innovative, and he wants to do cool new things and different trades that you don't see every day. But he said the biggest problem is you need a dance partner.
Yeah, absolutely. And, with him, people know he's ready to deal. And he's still right now, he's looking to deal. He's not done yet. He needs to add another defenseman. They signed Koyakovo, but they need another guy, I think. I don't think he's done.
Yeah, no, I agree. He did say he wants a left shot. He said he would prefer to trade, so there's that. But I think he's kind of in a spot right now where he's going to, or his best chance is going to look to do what the Islanders did last year. You're kind of past the point now where all the UFAs, they weren't great to begin with, but of course they're not. Now that it's been picked through a little bit, you're not going to find anybody else either. So you can wait for a trade, but I think he's gonna keep on the phones, but I think more or less he's gonna wait until that kind of late August, September mode when people have to go into crunch because of to get back under the cap.
Yeah.
So that's when you're gonna find maybe somebody like a Letty or a Boychuk that you can get for less than you should. And it's exactly what the Islanders did, and it worked out very well for them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a lull here, and kind of like we have, where he's signed guys, but nothing to write home about. So yeah, I would look more for that. I think that's going to be his better bet, anyways. When teams like Chicago, LA, maybe Boston have to, get under the cap, and then it's like deadline. You got to do it now. So that's when they're going to have to be just looking to not necessarily get rid of people, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta happen. If he's gonna make a trade soon, it's gonna be this week. After this week, after development camps, GMs go away. This is their vacation time, and they don't get back together again until August, September. So if it doesn't happen this week, then like you said, you're looking at an August, September deal, which wouldn't be the worst thing. See what you got. You can go into camp too, and let Pysyk and McCabe go out there, and maybe one of them shocks you, and you're like, okay, I think maybe we're set here.
Yeah,
you don't gotta move a guy.
No, I don't. I think Pysyk's going to be here either way. I don't think he's going to be one looking to shock, but McCabe is one. I think he was captain of the USA World Juniors. They played really well that year, and I think that he's kind of an on the fence guy. I think depending on how he comes into camp, he either could play here all year or he could go play Rochester all year. I think it's up to him, and I think. The way that the roster is set up right now, it really is all up to him. If he shows up and, like you said, kind of shocks Bylsma or shows us something that we really haven't seen or don't expect from him at this point in his progression, I think he could be one to look at to, maybe, play a bottom 6 role for most of the year, sit a couple games here and there and, learn. Pysyk, I think, will be here all year, playing all year. He proved that he should have been last year. Even Nolan was crying about that, and we all kind of got a chuckle out of it. But as for that, yeah, I think that's where you're going to have to go. I don't think anyone else. Ruido's kind of a forever come up when somebody gets hurt guy.
I like Chad Ruido. I've always liked him. I thought he never got a fair shake. I mean, he always comes in and he's not flashy, but he gets the job done as a 5'6" guy. But
I just don't think he's going to be a set 5'6" guy ever.
No, I don't think so either.
I think if somebody gets hurt for a whole season or something, he could play a 6, and he's not going to kill you. He's going to be okay back there. Like, you're not going to cringe anytime somebody goes in on him. Mm-hmm. But I definitely don't think that he's going to be up for like an 82 anytime in the near future.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'll take that. So let's rewind a little bit. So we have all these new additions. You got Jack Eichel. You got Ryan O'Reilly. You got Evander Kane. If you want it, you got Jamie McGinn, David Legwand, Carl Koyakovo.
You already forgot Leonard.
Robin Leonard. I didn't get through my whole list yet. Give me a second here. I mean, you got all those new additions. So what? Playoff team? Middle of the pack still? What do you think? Needs a big jump. It's a big jump. You got to remember they were trying to lose last year. Nobody in the organization will tell you that, but they were trying to lose last year.
What I will say is it kind of goes into a rambling that I've gotten into with quite a few people these last, week or so, is I kind of can't stand how people say, how are you going to go from 56 points to 90, 95? And I'm not saying they're going to. I think they might be like Florida last year, they'll kind of be right there, but they probably might not make it. I mean, it's a game of bounces, so they might get a couple good ones and you sneak in, or you get a couple bad ones and you don't sneak in. But I will say it's like, I mean, you just look at the turnover in general, yes, but I mean, every year to year, the guys aren't going to, every guy's not going to play the exact same, and everybody's like who had down years. You can take like Molson, for example. He's not going to play nearly as bad as he was. And so when people say, how are you going to make up a 20, 30, 40-point gap, it's a totally different team. It's a totally different coach. It's a totally different everything. I mean, they were last in the league in almost every category, but now look at who they have as their forwards. It's almost a complete overhaul. So, I mean, I don't like how you can look, or people do sometimes look at it as a year-to-year thing. I think you need to kind of come in as a clean slate and look at every team now, how they are right now, and that's how you're going to see. I mean, obviously you look in the past to see how players have done and teams like as a whole have done, but I don't like that sentiment that because they had 50, there's no way that they can all of a sudden get 80. I think it's a little ridiculous.
I agree with you. I mean, the way I look at it too, and I'm like, yeah, it's a far jump. Is it likely? No. But here's the way I kind of look at it now: is this is the first time where the Sabres, we want them to win now. You know, the playoff system's new now. You know, so for us, it's super new. I mean, look at their division. I'll rattle off the teams here: Florida, Boston, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Detroit, and then Buffalo. So those are your 8 teams. So Tampa Bay wins that division.
Yeah.
Okay? So then you have 2 more spots, basically. Because I don't think you're getting a wild card spot because that's going to go to the Metro because they're stacked.
Yes.
So you got to be better than Florida, Boston, Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. Detroit, sorry. So, I mean, are you not... So let's go by each team. Florida. Can the Sabres be better than Florida?
They'll
Maybe.
probably be right. Yeah,
The same?
Florida,
Close?
I think would be a little better.
Right.
It's close, yes.
Boston? No. I would say no
yeah.
on the downswing right now. Toronto? Definitely not.
No.
Montreal hasn't done anything. I mean, they got Carey Price. Okay, so let's say Montreal is your number 2 because every year they have, whatever. They have Carey Price gets them 102 points. Mm-hmm. So let's say Montreal is your 2. So you got Tampa Bay, Montreal, and it'd be better than Florida, Boston, Toronto, Ottawa, and Detroit. So Ottawa is, I don't know, what's Ottawa? Is the hamburger going to stay in his head again?
I was going to say they're a decent team that got hot.
Yeah.
Ridiculously hot.
Right.
So, they'll probably be right there with Florida, Buffalo.
And then what's Detroit? Is Detroit going to go down now with Babcock's gone? I mean, they're signing Brad Richards, and, they're getting older instead of younger.
Yeah, Mike Green, too.
Mike Green. I mean,
Detroit, I still think they're going to go on a downswing. I will say that I don't think it's going to be as big of a jump since Blashill is a.k.a. Mini Babcock. So I don't think it's going to be that hard for the players to, it's not like a totally new system they all have to learn. So I think it's basically going to be a 4-team race. Buffalo, Florida, Ottawa, Detroit. I think I would put, as of right now, I think I would put Florida.
And as a team, the 3rd team?
I think so. Because I really liked what they did last year. They kept Yager for another year. They got Campbell for 1 more year. They kind of got to go.
Bukestad's a year older. Huberdeau, if he comes back to form.
They had some injuries too. Brad Boyes getting cut was a little weird, or bought out.
Yeah. You gotta think that.
But I think their top 6 is really solid. I think they finally have 2 good centers, young good centers. Yager seemed to give Huberdeau life last year. They're definitely on the upswing. So if Luongo doesn't get hurt and plays, like a Luongo regular season.
Yep.
I think Florida's a good pick there to be 3rd. But yeah, I mean anything can happen. Somebody gets hurt, or the kids have another down year, or Ekblad doesn't have sophomore slumpish.
Yep.
Any of those things kind of happen. Willie Mitchell is also 105, so I think he has 1 year left. So I definitely think it's probably I would go Florida, Detroit, Buffalo. I mean, you still can't write Detroit out just because.
We do it every year, don't we? And then they make the playoffs
exactly.
every year.
They're kind of like when the Bills think the Patriots, they're done for. And
Yeah.
It's like 2-2, and then all of a sudden they run the table.
Yeah.
So I can't count them out yet either, but I definitely think Buffalo's going to surprise people. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. I think Buffalo's going to start out of the gates really hot. I think they're going to surprise some teams. Teams are going to come in and be like, oh, it's still just Buffalo. And I think they're going to catch some teams off guard. And for probably like the first, let's say, 32 games, they're gonna be. They might even be like top 3 teams, and then I think the wear and tear of the NHL season, as opposed to a college season,
Eichel playing
is
82
gonna
games, yeah.
is gonna wear on Eichel a little bit, and I think that Reinhart too, if he stays up, he hasn't played a full 82, so I think the not necessarily the youngness of the team is going to hurt them as much as it's going to, oh my gosh, this season is super long. We're only halfway through, and I'm kind of getting beat up, and guys that are 30 years old and just have old man weight are killing me into the boards. And so I think they're going to kind of taper off, and it's going to be if they can ride the hot start to the end is what I think this season is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it too. They can be like Calgary. They're too young to know any better. How many times last year we kept saying, "All right, Calgary, time to go back." I'll throw this out there too. The Sabres had trouble scoring last year. It wasn't necessarily giving up goals. I mean, how many times they was like, "Oh my God, the goaltending, just go away,"
Yes.
And you think Leonard's going to be fine. Every goalie's fine, so I'm not really worried about Leonard. I wouldn't give up what I gave up to get him, but it's whatever. He's a goalie. He'll be fine like everybody else in the league. I'm not worried about that.
I'll bring up a point real quick about that too. It's what I told you and made you feel better a couple days after. Is that for the people who are flipping out about giving up a first for Leonard and Legwand, I hated it too. But the reason I hated it was that I thought giving up the first meant you weren't getting O'Reilly anymore. And then when he made the trade, which I do think was a good trade, for Grigorenko, Comfer,
Zadorov,
31. Once you made that trade and you didn't need the first to get O'Reilly, I just see it as kind of like swapping. So I bet you everybody would feel a lot better if you said we gave up 31 for Leonard.
Yeah.
So if you can just see it as you gave up the first for O'Reilly and the 31 for Leonard, whatever. Like I said, I didn't like the trade either, but basically we took the stuff that I kind of I figured we were going to get rid of, and we got the 2 guys that I wanted. I wanted a goalie, I wanted O'Reilly.
You kind of flipped it around with what you gave up.
Exactly. So I don't hate it, But anyway, continue, sorry.
It's okay. So, all right. So they couldn't score goals last year. All right. So let's look at this. You had Evander Kane, Ryan O'Reilly, and Jack Eichel. All right. So I'm going to give you their career averages. Evander Kane, 25 goals, 50 points per 82 games. Ryan O'Reilly, 17 goals, 47 points per 82 games. Although he started off slow in the beginning, but he's picked up the last 2 years. But let's just go his career average.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say Jack Eichel. I'll go conservative. Let's say he's Johnny Gaudreau next year. 13 goals, 19 assists, 32 points. That's not unreasonable. You could do better than that.
Yeah.
But let's be conservative.
I would probably put him around 40. So yeah, that's.
So if you add all those up, all the goals, you're adding 55 new goals to the team and 129 points. Now that's just those 3 players.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Ennis is a 20-goal scorer. He's never had a center in his entire life in the NHL.
Yeah, he had 20 goals with a horrible team.
Right. So now you got Tyler Ennis with a real center. You got Matt Molson, who thrived under Johnny Tavares. Put him with Eichel now. Mm-hmm. And you got your Tavares back. And Molson can go back scoring 30 goals, getting out 25.
Yep, especially power plays.
Right. And that's how you get 25 out of Ennis. I mean, that's a lot of goals you're picking up now.
And then you still got Gergensen.
You still got Gergensen. You got Reinhart. Let's see, Reinhart puts 25 points in. Gergensen's almost had 20 last year until he got hurt. And again, that's on a garbage team.
Gianta's probably still good for 10.
Yeah, Gianta's good for 10, 15. I mean, McGinn, what does McGinn maybe get you? 10? Legwand, maybe if he stays healthy, what does he get you? 9, 10? I mean...
he gets you veteran leadership.
Yeah.
I think that's about it at this point in his career. But
still, I mean...
No, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I also like Deloria on the 4th line.
Yeah.
He's the perfect 4th line guy, big body, and he can chip in offensively.
I mean, if Foligno decides he wants to, commit for an entire season and show up all the time, he could easily pot you 10, 15, playing on a good wing,
And that's...
I mean, put him with Gergensons and Gianta. Why can't Foligno score 10, 15 goals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's done it previously. So, I mean, yeah, it's true. It's definitely going to be a lot on coaching and how they mesh together, finding the right lines and the right chemistry. But I could definitely see it. Risto, also had a huge year. I don't know. You can't really look for him to be that huge offensive guy, but he had a couple. I still can vividly remember that bar down clap bomb he had on the power play.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah,
I was like happy and then sad. I was like, no.
Yeah, you got Bogosian for a whole year. You got Pysyk a whole year, and then you fill it out.
Pysyk's another one that I think not very many people know about, but the reason he didn't play all last year, and when he did come up, he got his ass sent right back down, was the team, Corsi-wise, was like 10 percentage points better
when he was on the ice,
which is insane.
Yeah.
So that's why Murray was like, see you later.
Yeah, and then they sent him to Rochester too to work on his offensive game. And when he came back up at the end of the year, he was always in the play and always involved. So, I mean, I think Pysyk's going to be great for this team, I mean, it kind of hurts to lose Zadorov, maybe, yeah. He had some issues with maturity, okay. You got to give up something to get something, So go to Colorado, have a good career. That's fine. I'll take Ryan O'Reilly. We'll all be happy.
Exactly. Don't be afraid for both teams to do okay in trade.
Exactly.
It's just like
both teams can win. So if Zadorov's, having a great career and O'Reilly's having a good career, don't be mad because Zadorov's doing well. Both teams can win in a trade.
The same with Kane and Myers and Bogosian.
Yeah. Right.
If we do well and they do well, who cares?
Everybody's happy. Who cares? Exactly. You can't have all three guys. You can't I wish we had Myers and Kane and Bogosian. So well, you wouldn't have got Kane and Bogosian if you didn't give up Myers.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with that. I think I liked Zadorov a little more than some people did, but like you said, when he was in the package, I just said, you're like 2 second, but then as soon as you're like, okay, though we got O'Reilly, so we'll be all right. I
mean, in that trade, just not to dwell on the whole trade, but I mean, it wasn't really Zadorov that made me go, It was when I saw Comfort when I kind of, I'm big on Comfort.
I did like Comfort too. Yeah.
You know what he could be, but again, he's still 2 years away. And again, if
he'll
plays
probably
well
be
in Colorado,
a second, third, still ceiling guy.
Right. Plays well in Colorado. He plays well in Colorado. What are you going to do? You got Baptiste, you got Bailey, you got all the prospect pool for the Sabres. I mean, they all can't play for the Sabres, so you got to move some out. And Comfort's time was up, so it is what it is.
One thing that I did hear today that they actually misspoke, but it still made me laugh, was on the radio. They're saying that they were hearing that Grigorenko said he wasn't gonna sign with the team or something, but it turned out it was the KHL coach that was saying that. No. They thought it was Colorado. So how funny it would have been if just you're traded and then see you later. Who knows? Who knows what he would be? But
I mean, Grigorenko, I was high on him, but I think I don't know. I could see him being a KHL guy in 2 years. I think he gets one more contract, and he just never his skating. I think has really never improved, and that's gonna hurt him.
When your skating is a problem and you really don't have the work ethic to
make it better,
or at least make everything else better, so that it doesn't hurt you as much,
and you don't go to the middle of the ice, that much, and that's gonna it's gonna hurt you. So we said the Sabres are maybe a playoff team. So I think if we're gonna dwell on the Sabres, that we at least need to have the same conversation about the Oilers.
I agree.
They got Connor McDavid. They got Cam Tellett. They got Griffin Reinhart.
They got
Sakara.
Favorite pickups for them.
And they had a lot of moves, and now they could always score goals. They just couldn't keep the puck out of the net. Mm-hmm. And now you add McDavid to that ridiculous offense, and now they have a goaltender that appears, and now they have some defense with Nurse, Sakara, Reinhart.
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget Schultz is still there. So they got
and you got a good coach,
right? And you got a coach now. So if anything, I think it kind of kills me to say it. The Western Conference is hard, but I give Edmonton a better chance of making the playoffs because I think maybe they're farther along with their young forwards.
Yeah, I was. I hate to say it, but the last 5-6 years, I was always that guy that 3 years Edmonton, 4 years they're gonna be so good. Just watch, Edmonton's gonna be great, and they just management and I don't know what else. If it was coaching, it was definitely the way almost all their guys were handled.
Just banging your head against the wall, pretty much.
It was yeah. So now though that they got Chiarelli in there, they got
Well, how long until he trades all their young guys for?
He hasn't yet, so I'm proud of him. I guess he's been holding back. So, but yeah, I mean, if you kind of just do what you did for the Sabres, I think Ducks are a powerhouse again. Then you got Vancouver. I think they're just kind of in that we don't know what we are phase. Calgary, they made some really good moves. I loved the Dougie Hamilton pickup. And
They got Frolik too. It's not a bad signing.
Frolik, they gave him a little much, but I do think yes, he's definitely going to help them. He's an all around guy. He can play your bottom six, but he's going to contribute, and he's going to play. He can play penalty kill and power play for you.
You kind of feel bad for Calgary, though. They gave him that big contract, and everybody else stopped giving big contracts, and you're like, oh, maybe we kind of went early on that.
Yeah, they kind of jumped the gun. The Kings, who knows what they're going to be, and kind of with the Sharks too. So, and then Coyotes, they'll see at the basement.
Yeah.
So I mean, if the Oilers, they could. I mean, how crazy would it be? I could see them maybe seeing a wild card. They're probably not gonna. I could see the Kings bouncing back now that they didn't play. April again.
I mean, I think about how many games have they played. It probably was good for them to not play in the playoffs.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at. I think the Sharks are. The Boar, I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah, they picked up some good. They got Paul Martin. They got Joel Ward. I mean, they got some.
They got some good pieces.
Martin Jones. I'm a big fan of Martin Jones too. I think he'll be better than Niemi. Not by much, because like I've said numerous times, all goalies are the same. But I still think he's an upgrade.
I agree. I guess what I kind of would say is if I was San Jose this year, I would have kind of went into blow up mode, and I would have started to build around Couture. I know you kind of aren't a big fan of that, but I mean,
I think they did what I would have done. You have Thornton still there. You have Marlowe there still. You have Pavelski. You have Burns.
Well, I probably would have just, if I would have traded anybody, it would have been Thornton and Marlowe.
I would have traded one of them, but I think they probably did what I might have done if I was in a situation. You set yourself up with the acquisitions that you made. You have a 2-year window. 2 years. You think Martin's 34, Joel Ward's 33, 32.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
So you have a 2-year window, those acquisitions. So, I mean, Joel Ward's a good playoff guy. Martin's solid. I think you need Marlowe to bounce back. You need Thornton. He always just has a Joel Thornton year, which is fine, which is good. That's what Joel Thornton does. And I think you need Couture to have a better year. He was kind of bad last year.
I agree.
But if that all comes together with San Jose, it's a 2-year window. If you don't do it in those 2 years and you don't make it out of like the second round, then you're done. You're toast. And after that 2-year window, I mean they'll have Couture and Hurdle, but after that, I mean, look out for San Jose for a couple of years.
I could be wrong, but even with their acquisitions, I think they're kind of just a team that's spinning their wheels. I think this year that they're like a truck stuck in the mud. They might have found a nice new tire or two to put on the back, but guess what? You're still spinning your wheels and you're not going anywhere. They always have good regular seasons. They had a down regular season last year. I think it's a tribute to, like you said, Couture did have a down year. But I do think that Thornton and Marlowe, especially when Thornton is fighting with the GM and the GM stayed, I just don't see how that's going to be just all of a sudden cool and fine.
Yep.
I think they have troubles. I think they might be able to push it under the rug for a little bit. But as soon as you hit that 5-game skid, look out. And I don't see them bouncing back. I don't even know if they make the playoffs. If they do, they might, like you said, lose first, second round, and now what? So maybe you give it one more year, but it's kind of like the Blues. I feel like they kind of didn't know what to do this year. And so, they did trade away Oshie, but, did it really make your team that much better or worse? Probably not. So, getting back to the Oilers, I do think if they can somehow still put up their crazy 5-goal games every now and then just get – if Talbot can be not a product of the Rangers' good defense, which I don't think he really was.
No, I don't think so either.
And he can just – if the Edmonton could just get an average goalie, just like average goaltending, because obviously Dubnyk –
it's pretty hard in this league not to find it. So
exactly. So it was obviously their defense. And I really feel like with Nurse coming up this year, picking up Griffin Reinhart, and for me the big one was Andre Sekera.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a huge pickup, and he's going to be very good at that outlet pass, and he's going to be able to join the kids on the rush. And that's going to be huge. And with obviously McDavid, if he has anywhere near the year that people think he will have in his rookie year, especially on a line with either Nuge, Hall, Eberle, Yakupov, go down the line.
Yep.
I think he'll thrive, and I think it'll be if nothing else, they're going to be a very exciting team again to watch. And you might want to get Game Center just to watch a couple of their games, because I think it'll definitely be fun to fall asleep to, and you might not fall asleep.
You mentioned, a little bit back a few seconds ago, you mentioned Oshie. That made me think of the Capitals. There's another team that
They had a good offseason.
You lose Brouwer, you lose Ward, but you replace those guys with Oshie and Williams. And is that not an upgrade? You lose Mike Green, but, honestly, for the Caps, I think that's a good thing. You get him off your roster. He provided you points, but he kind of wasn't great in his own end.
No.
So, you got a coach who got Ovechkin to play two-way hockey. Ovechkin's version of two-way hockey.
Which is fine.
He's
putting up 50
he's
goals.
Putting 50 goals, and he's not a negative. He's not a negative 50 when he puts up 50. That's fine, So we'll take that. But I think the Caps. I said it last year. I think this upcoming season could be the Caps' year. If you want to put money on a team, at some good odds, a chance to win some money. Maybe Caps are your team. You put it on. They got Williams now, who maybe they'll win a Game 7. Now they have him. Need a big goal.
I think the key to Oshie is
he can't be a top line.
He and they are going to have to be fine with him on a third line.
Yep.
And if everybody's okay with that, and that's what happens, he will be worth all the money you give him and everything you gave up to get him. So I think if you do that and you do that correctly, it'll be a great for the Caps. And then obviously, like you said, you just let Ovechkin do what he does, because it's
Backstrom, let those two just go to work.
And then you had the young guys who played really well, especially in the playoffs. Yep. I think he just got
an extension, 2 years,
right?
$6 million.
Yeah, I did see that. So I agree with you, and if Holtby can play like he has,
he'll get a contract too this year, so he'll be nice and secure in there.
He'll get paid. So I agree. The Capitals, I think they had a good offseason. The Oshie pickup, he said he was going to go with 77 today, if anybody cares. So yeah, I think that they did well. Like you said, if you want to stick around right here in the Metropolitan right now, yowzer, who in that division? You definitely have 5.
Robert Himblett off.
Rangers, Capitals, Islanders, Penguins, Jackets, and then Flyers, Devils, Hurricanes. The Flyers will be better, but I still think they're on the outside looking in. The Devils are nowhere and will be nowhere for probably the next 10 years. And the Hurricanes, they're kind of in a, what do we do now from here?
What do we do with Skinner? What do we do with Stahl? Are we going to pay Stahl? Are we going to really go on this full rebuild?
Yeah, we got the Stahl brothers, so they'd be our amazing.
We got Hannafin now. Do we kind of,
probably let him maybe play
another year in college, and maybe let's see if I can get myself some Austin Matthews.
Yeah, they might be looking to do that. But the thing, it's tough, because I know probably from their management standpoint, they look at the end of last year, and they turned around and played really well.
Yeah.
But once again, it's just another team. If you do that, you're fooling yourself. Congratulations, you got the 10 spot, and now you're drafting.
With Carolina too, they played well at the end of the year. I don't really know if they're fooling themselves, because if you think about it, how hurt they were all year. Skinner was in and out with the concussions.
Jordan Stahl broke his
leg. You got to think probably wasn't really 100% all year long. Eric Stahl, he had some injuries.
They traded Toulouse.
Toulouse was gone. The goaltending was a joke, and you got Eddie Lack now, and I think Eddie Lack will be just fine.
Yeah.
So, you got some pieces. Their defense still isn't great. They have Falk. That's really it on defense.
Right, yeah.
I guess if you play Hannafin, maybe the defense is where they're going to need some bulking up. And
that's where I think the quote "kidding yourself" is where it comes in.
I can see that.
They have pieces, but they're kind of in two different directions. You got the Stalls going one way, and Skinner and the rest of the young guns, Rask, I think was a good one last year, going the other way. So you're in that phase where, okay, guys, we go one more draft, and then we got to decide: are we blowing this up and doing it right, or are we bulking up and trying to get a couple big pieces and
filling holes, basically.
See where we're going. So another team that had a great offseason, Columbus Blue Jackets.
I was just going to go there.
They're going to be a dangerous team this year. I think most people forgot how good the Jackets are because they were so injured all year. Most man games missed, right?
Yeah.
So I just look what they did at the end of the year last year. They were like, "Hello, don't forget about us. We're just gonna sit here and win."
We'll see
10
you
games
next
in a
year.
row."
Yeah.
So I really think that the Jackets are going to be a scary team. The Penguins, I guess you're just going to have your bottom six score on their bottom six and hope you can keep up with their top six.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of in the same spot they were last year, except Kessel's going to be. I think he's going to be a totally different player on that.
With
top
Crosby,
line.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry about playing defense now because Crosby's your guy who plays two-way hockey. All Kessel's worried about is scoring goals.
Kessel's faster than most people think, and his pure scoring talent.
Yep.
I think it's going to shine through in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be surprised to see him put up 35, 40.
Yeah, I think he hit 40 easy in Pittsburgh. I want to go back really quick to Columbus before we jump.
Yep.
I want to go back to that Saad trade. They say the best, if you get the best player in a trade, that you won the trade. So let's look at the trade. So you get Saad goes to Columbus with, I don't know, some pieces, some prospects, whatever. And then you got Anisimov going back to Chicago, who's not a bad player. And then you got Marco Dano.
Trop. And
I'm pretty sure there was a first. Was there a pick in there too? I can't remember.
There was a third. I don't know if it was from Chicago.
I think it was a third. I don't think it was. Anyways, the guy I want to focus on is Dano.
Oh, Jeremy Morin was there too.
Oh, Morin was in there too. Which is kind of weird because he left Chicago to Columbus and now went back again.
That's why I remember.
Yeah. So, but Dano's the guy I want to focus on because is Brandon Saad the best player in that trade right now? Yeah. Is he going to be the best player in 3 years? I don't know. I think Dano could be. I mean, we talked about this before we started. I was just looking through some analytic numbers just for the Sabres guys. And, I sorted out the top players by points per 60 minutes. And with players playing at least 200 minutes, Dano was sixth. Sixth. I mean, you put him on the Blackhawks with Taves and Kane and Hossa and so on. I mean, geez, that guy's going to step right in the Saad spot and not going to miss a beat.
You would think so,
I mean, that's a sign of a great GM who picks that up. You lose Saad, you're like, oh, man. But if you take a step back and look at it, you put Dano in that lineup.
I think that's one of the things where I know everybody is either on one side of the fence or the other side of the fence. But I think that if you find yourself in the happy medium of analytics are a piece of the puzzle that can really help a team, see the big picture. And Chicago, I read an article in basically all major four sports, Chicago's like number one in analytics. And that kind of, you doing that little digging shows that they know what they're doing. They look for those little things that other teams, Colorado, Boston, the New Jersey, don't look for. And then that's how you can help yourself to fleece, hopefully, people in trades. And I definitely agree. I think a lot of people saw Anisimov as the other big piece going the other way, but I follow a couple Columbus Blue Jackets guys, and a lot of them said they were sad Dano left. They saw him as a good up-and-coming player. Even some fantasy hockey quote guys said, look out, Dano's not going to be a sleeper for anybody anymore because he's probably going to blow up, especially in Chicago with Taves or Kane. And you're right. It was a great move there by Scotty Bowman, right?
Yeah, I mean, Chicago hasn't done much, but really, if you look at it, I mean, they're not having a bad offseason. They're cap-strapped, so they get rid of Saad, which is surprising. Sharp's still there. I mean, the asking price sounds like it's ludicrous. You got to think, hopefully that's going to go down because they got to get him off the roster. O'Doyle's sitting around. Looks like he wants to go back to Chicago, which would be great, if he signs at a cheap, price. But you got to look at it. I mean, you lose Richards, and then you got Terry Vining coming. Mm-hmm. You lose, I don't know, somebody else some money, and then here comes Dano. You don't want to pay Saad $6 million. Fine, here comes Dano. You're going to pay him $125,000 for the next, 2 years or so, something like that. And you're fine. Everyone says Chicago, they're done. They're in a cap restraint. Well, no. You have a good general manager who knows what he's doing, pushes the big money out, and he brings in guys who can play for that lower minimum. And then he'll do it again when the next time comes around.
And if you look, it helps when you won.
Yeah.
Because then you can get Brad Richards for cheap because he wants to win. If you can pull those, wily veterans, if you can do that once every year and, pick that guy Richards, and then I forget who it was the last couple of years. But anyways, you're going to find those teams or you're going to find those veteran guys who can saying that their career's coming to an end, they want to win a cup. Where should I go? And you got Chicago with basically a full hand of rings, saying, "Hey boys, we're over here," and it's pretty enticing. So you can get guys for cheaper. I will say they have had a good offseason up until now, but I think it's basically it's not gonna depend on, but they need one more big move, and depending on what that one more big move is, if it is Sharp or whoever else it is. Once they have to, it's time, that we were talking about before, to get under the cap. Depending on who they move and what they get at that point, that'll decide. But I definitely think they'll be fine.
Let me throw this out there, too. Seabrook's contract is up next year. So is Seabrook going to be the next guy where you go, whoop, out the door with you, and then somebody else replace behind him?
I mean, I was kind of dancing around it. That's where I was, thinking. They do like Ben Riemsdyk.
He has great analytic numbers, too.
Yeah, I know
Corsi numbers.
I know they do like him, so I just don't know if he's ready.
Yeah.
Yet, but it's kind of what I was dancing around. If you don't want to get rid of Sharp, I mean, you can probably make it work by dumping Seabrook. I mean, it's probably crazy for a lot of people to hear because, I mean, you go back and you think,
But are you going to resign him next year? Are you going to be able to resign him next year? He's going to want big money.
I mean, I think I keep saying a lot of people forget, but I mean, obviously, I don't know. Crawford is making $6 million too, and that's kind of the one thing that Chicago didn't do. That all of a sudden they decided, okay, we're going to give Crawford big money. So it's kind of their problem there. They kind of went away from we can just throw a goalie in. But yeah, like you said, I think it would be a big hit. I think you can easier to plug holes for Sharp and cover that up than Seabrook.
I think Sharp's the guy that has to go. It is going to lower the price.
Yeah.
I think Seabrook's the guy maybe, I don't know, maybe mid-season, I don't see a deadline guy if they're good, but, in the offseason, do you let him walk? Do you trade his rights?
I don't know.
I think get kind of sticky with Seabrook if you hold on to him, especially if you don't plan on signing him. If you kind of get sticky if you hold on to him too long.
But then the other thing is you're Chicago. So, I mean, you got Kane and Taves and Keith, and you can say, look, we basically played Keith 40 minutes a night and still won. So what if we just, if a worst-case scenario, trade Seabrook's rights for not much, but we see how the season goes, and then all of a sudden, hey, let's pick up a couple guys at the deadline and try and win another cup.
Yeah.
Because we can. And, I mean, you still got Hossa, too, who is weird to be like the unsung hero behind the curtains. He's like the wizard pulling,
Yeah, I mean, he's getting up there, but he never slows down. The guy's always going.
He's a mule, man.
Yeah.
He goes, and then, I mean, you can never. It's like the Penguins. You say you can never count out Crosby and Malkin. Well, you can never count out Taves and Kane, and that's been very prevalent. It was weird. I honestly, even being a Hawks fan, didn't really feel like anything would really happen this past year, and it kind of just did.
Yeah, it's unfolded that way. It's weird. You're going to the playoffs. You're thinking, I don't know, Kane's hurt, but then Kane plays, and then.
But how hurt is he?
And then there they are at the end, hoisting the cup. It's crazy.
They only have 4 defensemen.
Yeah.
They still win anyways. So yeah, it's a weird year, but if they can do that this year, why not think they can do it all the time? So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with them, but.
Yeah, I mean, a few teams I want to touch on too before we wrap up here. Let's beat the dead horse, I guess you could say, like everybody else is doing. Let's hammer the Bruins now. I mean, the Hamilton trade was terrible. I mean, you'd think they learned from the Sagan trade, but apparently not. So they move Hamilton because, I don't know, apparently his teammates didn't like him. He was a loner, but maybe part of it was on Hamilton too. Maybe he didn't want to play in Boston anymore. Okay, fine. The return you got, though, was, I mean, for Dougie Hamilton, the return you got, not like you had to move him.
No.
I mean.
You could do exactly what Colorado did with O'Reilly the last couple of years, and you can basically sit him down and say, this is what we're giving you. If you don't like it, well, have fun sitting out.
Yeah. Even if somebody offer sheeted him, I mean, what would you still get? A first, second, and a third? Is that probably not better than what they got?
Pretty much what they did get.
Right.
Yeah.
So why not hold out for a better trade, knowing as long as you can? So I don't know. That one was a head scratcher. The Lucic trade, actually turned out to be not that bad.
I kind of like the Lucci trade.
I mean, they ended up getting a first, 2 out of Jones, and they got a great prospect from San Jose in that trade. So the Lucci trade was good.
Even with how terrible the Dougie Hamilton trade was, I think my favorite trade by them this whole offseason was Zach Rinaldo
for a
third
round pick. I mean, that was right after the Hamilton trade. That's when you're like, somebody get the phone out of Sweeney's hand. What is happening?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of, I won't say turned it around, but he's, I guess, gotten the phone out of his hand since then.
Yeah, I mean, Bolesky, it was a good. I was waiting for somebody to pay that guy $7 million and laugh in their face, but they paid him $3 something. So
he wanted to be there.
Right, so I mean, that helps.
So it helped. But, yeah, I mean, Zach Rinaldo, I'm ready for him to be out of the league, let alone get traded for a third-round pick.
He's got courage, though, That's what Sweeney said. He's got courage.
Yeah, courage to break other people's body parts.
Yeah, I mean, that really seemed like a desperate move, trying to get the big, bad Bruins mantra going again.
Like you were saying, though, I think for me, the biggest head-scratcher was trading Hamilton, getting 13, 14, 15, and then I would hope, I'm assuming they were trying to go high, and it fell through. But if you're sitting there at 13, 14, 15, and say, like, trying to get to 3 doesn't happen,
get to, like,
go
10.
somewhere else.
Get to 10, get
trade
to 9.
14 or 15 or 13. Just trade one of them and, move up.
So it's like you had a plane. I'm just sitting there.
And then
picks that I have.
Yeah, it kind of looked like 13 came around and Boston was sitting there with their thumb up their butt. And, I guess we're just going to take 2 guys and reach on a third. So it made no sense at all. It made them look terrible. And I don't know what they were doing. I know everyone was piling on him. It was pretty easy. But I will say it was entertaining. It was funny to watch kind of Boston implode for a couple of days.
For a couple of days, you kind of sat around and you woke up in the morning and go, oh boy, wonder what Boston's going to do today.
Yeah. Where's Bergeron going? So, that's another team, like we were talking about earlier. Who knows where they're going to go. So, I think they'll drop off.
And so they got some good pieces. They got Krejci, they got Bergeron, they got Rask. Chara's 85 years old, so he's slowing down. It
just drives me crazy.
But that's the kind of thing, though, what doesn't make sense with Hamilton. Chara's on the way out.
Hamilton was going to replace
He was going to take his
Chara.
spot, and now you just lost that guy.
Don't worry, you got Adam McQuaid.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah,
and you paid McQuaid, and you paid – who else did they sign? Is McQuaid and somebody else they signed for the same money as you could have paid Hamilton. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
the whole situation was weird. I mean, I kind of get that maybe he didn't want to be there. But when you come out and say that after the fact too, it's kind of like.
And then you say he's a loner and he doesn't like him.
It makes you feel like, okay, we kind of screwed up here, so let's just make some stuff up and throw it out there. I'm not saying they were, but
they've traded the last 2 seasons. They've traded 2 of their top 3 defensemen in Boychuk and Hamilton the last 2 years, last 2 off seasons.
Yeah, trades they make don't make any sense.
Yeah,
Sagan.
Right, Sagan.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, Boychuk understood last year you need to get somebody off your salary.
Yes.
But then when you followed up with the Hamilton trade, then the Boychuk trades, why didn't you just keep Boychuk and then trade Hamilton?
Exactly. It's kind of like, they weren't.
There really wasn't a plan. I mean, I understand it was a different GM at the time, but there really wasn't.
I just, like you said, it's like they had no future forecast.
Pretty much.
They're like, oh crap, we need to get rid of someone. Boychuk's gone. Oh crap, Hamilton kind of doesn't want to be here. Let's get rid of him too. Yeah. And now they're sitting there with their hands in their pockets.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what do we have now?
Seidenberg's old. Chara's old. I mean, you can say you got McQuaid. And I can't even name any of the defensemen on Boston. Krug. And there was rumors that Krug might even be a guy they moved. I mean, if they move Krug, I think Boston fans should just, I don't know, go crawl under a hole for a year because it's going to be pretty ugly with that defense.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Just as like an outsider standpoint, that would have been like, whoa.
Yeah, so one more team I want to hit on because we really didn't get to talk about it. It's Toronto. Last time we had our last podcast, we were in the middle of the whole Babcock thing. So he gets paid, I don't know, a boatload of money. I don't even remember, like $50-something million. They go to Toronto.
6 or something.
He goes to Toronto. So Babcock's there. There's no GM. They get to draft Marner, I was a big fan of Marner. Mm-hmm. But then you look at their prospects, Nylander, Marner, Kasperi Kapanen you just got for Kessel. Those are all small guys. You got Bozak still, which he might be on the way out. Van Riemsdyk is still there.
If I were Toronto, I'd hope he's on the way out.
Yeah, I mean, you just signed
I saw somebody.
Kadri to win your contract.
I was going to say,
What's he
I
gonna
saw
be?
somebody put up analytic numbers between Kadri and Bozak, and
I mean,
it's comical.
Kessel made Bozak, really, and now there's no Kessel anymore
Oh,
for
yeah.
Bozak, so it's kind of
Bozak's
interesting
numbers
how that goes.
They're not good.
So what do you make of Toronto? You know, are they going to be a team that goes the Austin Matthews route now? They're going to try to be bad as they can?
I don't know if they're going to try to be as bad as they can, but I will give Toronto props, I guess. For a lot of people when Babcock came in, I know he said, like, we're going to hurt. But a lot of people were saying, okay, you got Babcock now. What are you going to do? Toronto fans are going to want to win now. And I give Shanahan credit.
I mean, Babcock came right in out the gate saying, you know, it's going to be tough for a few years. You know,
that's what I mean. I give them credit for trading Kessel. They should trade Bozak.
You got to trade. I think you got to see it through. Trade Phaneuf. Try to get rid of Lupul.
I just
see it through.
I don't know if they're going to. It's been rumblings now that Phaneuf might be staying, which it might be a mistake.
I mean, he can always go later. Like his contract's up. He can always go at the deadline, or you can go again on the next season. But I think you're slowing your process down.
True. Yep. So yeah, I think I will say this: they've had a good offseason for the route that Toronto should be taking. They got rid of Kessel, and the guys they've signed have been guys who are low risk, 1-year contracts. If they overperform for the contract, you can trade them at the deadline for more picks, pieces, whatever.
I mean, they weren't completely, you know, if you looked at the talk, they weren't, I don't know, did some players kind of help them out by not signing? I mean, there was talk they were in on Bolesky. So are they going to pay Bolesky a boatload? And then you're like, oh my God, did you not learn from Clarkson? You know, I mean, yeah, they were better. They're not being Toronto, I guess you could say, but
so far,
did it help that some guys said, I'm not taking your money? Maybe it's a bit of both.
That's true. It's the beginning, though.
Right.
And if they do what the Sabres did last year and hit October and win 10 of 13, so they all of a sudden go, oh my God, we're good.
Yeah.
And just start like trading for old veteran players.
Yeah.
And that's what Toronto's going to have to, you know, bite their tongue,
stay the course,
unplug the phone, and just, you know, eat it out. Let's go and just keep losing and get that, because I mean the new lottery too. So 1, 2, and 3 are lotto picks. So you have a better chance of getting up there. And
next year's a good draft again. I mean, it's not going to be like this year probably, but it's still a good draft. So I mean, you're still going to get a player even if you don't get Matthews at 1. Mm-hmm. And they'll have a lot of fans in the building who think if they have a high pick, saying it's in Buffalo next year.
And that's what I mean. And if they just Marner should project out fine. So if you go 1 more year, maybe 2, and then all of a sudden you can turn around. And if you think Buffalo had a fast turnaround, how do you think it's going to be when all of a sudden we're Toronto and we want good players now and we're turning around and we look at all the young guys we have? It's not going to be hard to get people to go to Toronto. So, I mean, just look at Babcock. The team wasn't good, and basically he said because it was Toronto, that's why he took the job. So Toronto's got to know that they're Toronto and keep that in their back pocket, because to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind Buffalo-Toronto becoming a huge rivalry.
No. That's why, I think we said, we were doing the whole lottery thing that myself or both of us, we said if the Sabres don't get McDavid wherever we want him, well, wouldn't it be awesome if he was in Toronto? It's USA and Canada. You got USA Eichel, you got Canada McDavid, and it's...
Babcock and Biles, man.
Exactly. 90 minutes away and back and forth. I mean, that would have been awesome. But it could be Matthews next year. Maybe it's Matthews and Eichel. Then I don't think it's as cool because then you're like, hey, you have McDavid, I have Eichel. Now it's, well, you have Matthews. Well, who did I get this year? It's
yeah,
a little different.
It'll be different.
But still.
But like I said, Sabres are going to be good for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. That's right. I forgot. They're set for life. So just get them 10 cup rings and just put it on all the fingers and they're fine.
We got the Eichel card.
Exactly.
So. But yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting. I think it's been quite a crazy offseason. I mean, I know, especially obviously sitting in Buffalo, it's been 10 times what it really has probably. But I think overall, a lot of teams did some good and teams did some bad, and teams, of course, just sat there looking at you, Montreal.
Dallas.
Way to sign
Vancouver.
Flynn and Mitchell.
Yeah.
So
I think Montreal's in on sharp, and that's what they're hanging on. But if Montreal, not to get crazy into it, but if Montreal doesn't do something, those fans are going to go nuts.
Yeah.
And if Price ever gets hurt, good luck.
You're not winning a game.
Yeah.
Because Tarkovsky was terrible. But anyway, yeah, I think you'll see the Lightning. The Rangers should be good. Look for the Blackhawks to, stay up there. And I think the Ducks, we kind of didn't really get on them, but they had a good offseason too.
Yeah.
They got Hagelin.
Yeah.
And they signed somebody else too. Defense, I think.
They lost Boschman.
They lost.
Oh, and they got Bieksa.
Bieksa.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So he's got a couple years in him still.
Yeah, and I think they retooled nicely. I think they'll be fine. And it'll definitely be interesting to see, I guess, who will be quote-unquote Calgary this year, although Calgary might just keep being Calgary. And
Yeah.
For Dougie Hamilton, and they might have one of the best blue lines in the game now.
Oh, my God. Giordano and
Brody,
and don't forget you got Weidman still there. He's not terrible.
Hamilton now.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Your top four is pretty...
It's pretty set. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's shaping up to be good. I mean, now we got prospect camps going, a little bit of a lull, and...
Yeah, there'll be no lull here anymore. We're back at it. The summer might slow down, but there's always something to talk about. There's always prospects, there's always potential moves, there's always looking forward. So don't you worry about it. We will keep on chugging out podcasts here. We are back at it for Chad and Bill. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you next time. See you later.
See ya.